Welcome to the Hardcore MBA podcast with your host, Erlend, Bakke.
Welcome to today's show, Hardcore MBA. And if there's anybody that knows how to be hardcore, it is Burton here on the show today. Where are you signing in from?
Somerset, over in the UK.
Okay, where is that compared to London? So
Southwest.
Southwest. Okay, fantastic.
150 miles away.
Right. So a quick train journey into central London.
2 hours.
So I was reading your bio in one of your books, and you've written it in a very funny way. I think it's a true reflection of who you are and how you present. Right. And I also saw you speak at the New Business Show in Kensington Olympia, and there was like a line of people outside wanting to get in. The room was full.
Was this last time? Just November?
Yes, in November, yeah. And
300
outside,
people inside, 300 people outside. Boom!
Yeah. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And so I reached out to you to hear more about your story and what's taken you from where you were to where you are now. Yeah. So can you give us a quick intro of yourself?
So my name is Burton. I'm the UK's #1 motivational business speaker. And people say to me, Brad, how did you become the UK's #1 motivational business speaker? I just made a website and said I'm the UK's #1 motivational business speaker. And you know, it's amazing because I get quoted on it. There's pages upon pages of editorial about that. If I was to say to you, I am the greatest, which boxer am I referring to?
Well, it's definitely here. It's...
If I said I'm the greatest, which boxer am I referring to?
Muhammad Ali.
Right. Was he the greatest?
He was indeed.
Well, he got beat twice. He got knocked out.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, he told everyone he was the greatest. Now, whether he was or whether he wasn't, he convinced himself he was the greatest. And when anyone goes for an interview, a job interview, when they speak at an interview, in their mind's eye, they're saying, I'm the greatest. They've got loads of enthusiasm. They're smiling more. They're being enthusiastic. They're doing everything right. And then what happens is over time, that enthusiasm falls away. Well, guess what? I'm in interview mode all day long. And what I do is I consider myself to be the greatest in this field. Whether I am or whether or not, it's irrelevant. But I've convinced myself that. So prior to me doing the motivational speaking thing, I actually walked out of a job 10 years ago, 11 years ago. I was working for a guy, and I remember thinking to myself, is this what life's about? Working 40, 60-hour weeks? I remember one evening driving back from this job that I was doing, and I seen a guy going in a house with electric gates, and he either had a Mercedes or a BMW, and I was thinking, I could work 100-hour weeks for this company and still never be able to afford the gates. And it was at that moment everything changed. I thought, what? This is crazy. Everything that I've been told about work hard, you'll get yours was a myth. So anyway, I walked out of that job. I told my employer to shove it. I walked out of the job and I started my own business off. £25,000 in debt. I don't have a qualification to be named, not one. Fast forward 3 months, I'm sat in my box room, don't know what I'm doing, going, shit, now what? And it culminated in me delivering pizzas 11 years ago. You know, I was delivering pizzas to keep my business afloat 11 years ago. And I always say to people say, well, you know, why is that relevant to me? Because in order to get to where you want to be, you're going to have to do shit. Whether it's delivering pizzas, whether it's doing telemarketing, when it's doing something, you're going to have to do that. And if I had not done that, I wouldn't be where I am now. So anyway, I started my own marketing business off, and it was okay, so. And I landed on this business networking thing. And I looked at business networking, and it was a little bit very formal. It was very, the organisation really was ahead of the members. And I just thought, this is all wrong. Anyway, I started my own networking organisation off 2006. Called 4 Networking, and everyone laughed in my face, and everyone told me it was a closed shop, and you've got no chance. Fast forward 10 years.
They probably said other people are doing that, right?
Correct, but they're not doing it the same way that I do it. You know, I went into a congested market. I went into there was no first mover advantage. It was a closed shop. You had the Chamber of Commerce, you had an American organisation. There was no space, and I made space. I did it completely different, fundamentally different. You know, people have done tablets. Computer tablets before iPad had done them, but somewhere along the way they got it right, and this is what I done. Fast forward 10 years, February the 16th, 2016, which is in a few days' time, it will be 10 years old for networking. We now run 5,000 meetings across the UK every single year, 5,000 business networking meetings. Nobody does it like us. And the great thing about 4 Networking, sales pitch now, the great thing about 4 Networking is they're all linked up. So you don't join one group over in Hammersmith and go there every week. You can go to Hammersmith, you can go to Manchester, you can go to London, and you can network 5 times a week if you so choose to with everyone networking. Oh, I'm on fire now.
So 10 years, how are you guys going to celebrate?
I'm stepping down as managing director.
Okay.
Right? So let me explain something. 10 years of running a business, I've done something pretty spectacular in terms of just changing the networking scene across the UK. And something I realised about 3 years ago when I had a nervous breakdown, I broke down mentally, because the pressure of running a business plus personal bad decisions plus all this sort of stuff caught up with me. And here's the thing, I go to the gym and when I lift weights, if you lift too heavy, it's strain. Same goes for your legs. Well, guess what? Your brain is a muscle. And when was the last time that anyone said, oh, guess what? I can't handle any more weight on it. Never. We just keep putting more and more work on. And this is what happened. I came out of that employment 10 years ago and I was on the hamster wheel. Fast forward 7 years, I'm on the hamster wheel of self-employment and I burnt myself out. Now, I was one day away from going kaput with my business and throwing it in the bin 3 years ago. And I remember having somebody give me a good talking to, one of my chairmen, and got me back on my feet, and the next 3 years everything's fine. But here's the thing, what am I doing it for? Right? What is the point of running the business? I've got more money than I sensibly know what to do with. And I'm not being rude there, right? I've come from nothing. In the UK, I was in council estates, 2-bedroom houses. My mum was a single parent. I've had nothing all my life. I now have every single material thing that I want, everything, right? I've not got a Lamborghini. Could I get one if I wanted to work for it? Absolutely, no question. But I realised something, that my happiness doesn't lie in this stuff. And it's taken me to get to this stage to realise that everything that I thought success was, that I've been told that what success was a myth. And one of the things that happened as a result of that 3 years ago, when everything unravelled for me, is I deconstructed myself. I had no option. And the great thing about deconstruction, you can rebuild yourself differently. And that's what I've done. So for the next 10 years, you've got an exclusive here, by the way. Nobody knows until the 16th. That's fine. But for the next 10 years, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to look after my family. My Bonnie, who's now 18 months old, Brandon, who's 7, and Ben, that's 12. Because I've been looking after my 4 networking family, thousands of members for the last 10 years. And I'm going to get to the end of my life one day. And am I really going to go, sure, I wish I'd have made more groups over in America. I wish I'd have... No, I'm going to sit down and say,
I better hide. Can you hear that?
Please.
I think it's the police.
They're probably coming for me. Don't you worry about that. It won't be you, it'll be me.
So family is now your priority, and because that's one of the questions I wanted to ask you. How is it running a business and having a family at the same time? What kind of pressures can entrepreneurs expect when you have? What changes?
Great question. I want you to think now, your audience, to think, right, that you're a captain of a ship. And you are the captain of a ship, your ship. And over here is an island with health and relationships. And over here is an island with wealth. More money than you could possibly imagine. Opulence, everything that you want for success, the material things, the private island, the lot. Which one are you going towards? Because you can't go to both. And what happens is this. People go, I'm going to go full speed ahead towards putting everything into this business because then I'll be able to do the nice things for my family and this, that and the other. And a lot of people don't get there. And what they end up doing is being further and further away, where they end up unravelling, having a nervous breakdown, getting divorced, losing sight of what's important, losing their health. So for me, there is a price to pay for success. And often that price is success. People end up being ill. So there's a balancing act. One of the things that I'm writing a 4th book at the moment, and have you ever played blackjack or pontoon?
I have.
21. Yes. You've got to get 21 on the card.
Yeah.
So the idea is that you get a king and you get an ace, 21, and that's you. You win. Well, guess what? If I'm playing that game of cards now, I've got an 18 or a 19 in my 2 cards. And you know what? I'm sticking. I'm not prepared to go again and bust myself. I am here now. I've achieved more than anyone ever anyone ever thought I could. My CV, my curriculum vitae, my resume, I should have been a bank robber. Right? And somewhere along the way, I've made better life choices that has brought me to this stage now where I'm really happy in life. And one of the things that I've written in this latest book is chase happiness, not money. Because it gets a point. I've got friends of mine who are hyper wealthy, talking 20, 30 million pounds worth of supercars. That's the kind, and when you've got 20 or 30 million pounds worth of supercars, guess what? Everything else is covered financially. They are no happier than me. They're no happier than you. So what happens is you end up getting to this sweet spot where people, the wife, by the way.
Hello, how are you doing?
You're going to be on a Skype interview. Thank you very much. That's
I see you got some Norwegian water there.
Oh, is that what it is? Good.
Yeah, boss is from Norway, yeah.
Boss. So, here's the thing. People get dreams and aspirations pushed on them about what society says an entrepreneur should be. You should be having lunch with Richard Branson, playing tennis with Tony Robbins. You should be on the island of Necker. You should be rushing from one meeting in a Learjet to the next meeting. You know what I say? Bullshit. Right? Because for the vast majority of entrepreneurs, they're never going to get there. The vast majority of entrepreneurs are going to get stressed out. They're going to get this. There's a balance in that. It's like a seesaw. And I'm not saying, don't have ambition, because I've got ambition. But I run 5,000 networking events across the UK. Would my life be any better if I run 50,000 across the world?
It
wouldn't be. It wouldn't be 90% better, would it?
Sorry?
It wouldn't be 90% better. It might be a little bit better.
It would be better for the people that get benefit from it.
But 5,000 networking events, where's the... So, okay, so we get 50,000. So we get 50,000 groups. Should we then get 100,000 groups? And the question that I ask anyone to ask themselves is this: how much is enough? How much is enough? Because I promise you this, there needs to be an end goal in sight. Because without that, you just end up being on a hamster wheel and keep going and going and going and going and going and going and going. And you end up with this insatiable appetite for consumption, where you get to the end of your life and go, fucking hell, you spent my life building something up for it to be nonsense. So I'm quite happy now in my life being where I am, and I don't need to keep pushing. Now, me stepping down as managing director of my own organisation after 10 years to the day, for the last year, I've actually not been involved in the day-to-day. What I've done is I've brought in someone who's got a high-level corporate background to work the business to see whether or not the organisation could survive without me. And a year on, the news is devastating, because it's 21% up without me. Oh, you're laughing more than I was.
Well, and that's... How does it feel to make yourself redundant?
My organisation for networking, in some respects, is like a political party, in that, as a leader, I need to know if I really truly love this organisation, when I need to go. And I think we know that point now. So I'm going to hand over, the last 10 years, the fight, the struggle, was, I'm a war general. That's what I do. I go, in a war situation, when everyone else is losing their heads, I'm keeping mine, and we've got a plan. But there's no wars anymore, and I can't go pushing over tables just to create a war. So this war general, from the stuff that went on 3 years ago, this war general has no more fights left in him, right? But my legacy is I've created and changed the UK networking scene forever, and I've written 3 books and the likes. So I'm really happy with that decision, and like I say, it allows me to spend more time with the things that are really important in this world.
Yeah, I think our brain has this mechanism of always saying more. Oftentimes, if you ask a question, it's always more. Like a better car, maybe it should be made out of 24 karat gold, or right, maybe it should be this, and more and more and more. And the sort of balancing out of that is incredibly important.
I've got a friend of mine with £3,000 gold taps, right? Right, £3,000 gold taps. And I goes to his house and I said, don't like those taps. He went, they're £3,000 each. I went, no, you can get platinum ones for £5. And he started laughing. And I said, let me explain something. When you start getting £3,000 taps, you've got fuck all to live for. Because all of a sudden, when you're flying first class, it's no longer first class, it's just normal. So you're forever pushing and pushing and pushing. For what purpose? This is the thing that I implore anyone who's listening to this to have a think about it and ask themselves a question. Is your goal that you have Is it really your goal, or is it one that somewhere along the way you've had it pushed onto you? Because I thought 10 years ago when I started this business off, I thought I wanted a Lamborghini. I thought I wanted a 10-bedroom mansion, 10 bedrooms. I have a 5-bedroom house now in a village. There's one room that I never go in. Not because there's anyone locked in there, it's just that there's no reason to go in there. Now if I'd had a 10-bedroom mansion, guess what? There'd be 6 rooms that I don't go in. No, it's just fucking crazy. People chasing shit for the sake of what they've been told life and success is about. So I'm happy. I'm really happy right now.
One thing that I really like about this economy right now is this sort of sharing economy, because I've been thinking about buying a car, another car in London, which doesn't make any sense.
No.
So what I managed to do instead was join Zipcar and then use Ubers. And that I really like it. And if you go on holiday, you can use an Airbnb, and it's just a great way of living. But it needs some mindset shift for me as well to sort of let that go.
Absolutely. Look, if I won the national lottery now, the first thing I would do would go on Lamborghini.it, and I would go and buy and spec a Lamborghini. Am I prepared to work for it? No. Right? That's the point. That is the point. You know, I read it was last year. I think it was the CEO or the Chief Operating Officer of American Express. He's 55-year-old, 2 children, married, and he's on the American Express private jet to a meeting, wherever it was, and he has a heart attack, and they had to divert. By the time he'd landed, dead on arrival, finished. There's the point. If he knew that he was going to die that day, that year, do you think he'd have been on a private jet going to a meeting? Of course not. Now, none of us know when we're going to go. None of us. Me, you, none of us. Nobody. I'm glad we don't. But here's the thing. That says to me that today is as important as the last day of your life. The difference is we all take it for granted. So I'm now 42, 43 tomorrow, thank you. Right?
Happy birthday.
Well, listen, Stundable.
Do you want me to sing for you in Norwegian?
What's that?
Do you want me to sing for you in Norwegian?
Please do. No, don't. Cut it.
I don't think I should, actually.
Go for it.
Oh, you want me to? Okay.
No. But the point is this. The point is this. I'm 43. Nobody knows when I'm going to be here. Am I going to make 44? Fingers crossed. Am I going to make 64? Love to. 74? Nobody knows. So why on earth would I spend more time than I need to in order to secure my future? Because maybe, just maybe, I've secured my future. Maybe, just maybe, I've secured my family's future. If I go now through a heart attack, my family are going to have more money than they could possibly wish to, because I've got great insurances and everything's sorted. So what the hell am I doing it for? Now, don't get me wrong. You need to be stimulated. You need to have a reason to work, because I'll tell you something now. I'm not prepared to show you my desk, but I have everything from that, my Bradcamp thing, which you won't know about. This is my new planning for new speaking seminars. I've got my books that I'm writing. Everything is. I'm still going to be busy. I'm still going to be having doing more legacy stuff. I'm just not prepared to redline myself to a point of where I become ill again. So, you know, it's been a really interesting time, and I think my view on business, initially, a lot of people resist me because of the way I look, the way I approach, the way people resist me instantly. And when I speak at seminars, I always get people rushing up to me and saying, Brad, can I be honest with you? And I finish the sentence off and I say, you came here thinking what a complete dickhead, and you've gone away after 30 minutes thinking, I got him all wrong, maybe, just maybe, he's onto something and he could have changed my life and direction for the better. And they go, oh, how do you know that? How do you know I was going to say that? Because I get it 3, 4, 5 times a day. And this is the thing, what's happened, we've been programmed that life and success is like this. We've been programmed that business people need to wear a 3-piece suit and a pocket watch. You know, we've been programmed this, and actually somewhere along the way, business that I do, you know, I get booked by massive organisations, JTB, Sage, Zero, The Business Show. I'm the biggest speaker there. They've got, you know, I'm the highest, the one that gets the most people there. I don't wear a suit. So what I've done is I've created a field of one by telling myself, as where we started, I am the greatest. And actually, people can then dismiss me, or people that don't like me, they can tell people, who does this dickhead think he is? Who's what dickhead? Brad Burton, never heard of him. Oh, he's a bit of a dickhead. Oh, his stuff's quite good. Boom. It's free marketing. It's free marketing. Brilliant.
So where do you learn marketing from? Is it all the years in business, or is it just like where does it come from?
Just made it up. No, I've got no formal academia or qualifications. I just see stuff in it. I wonder whether I wouldn't say autistic. I don't know. Something's not quite right. I'm like a computer. I interpret situations where socially people would leave people embarrassed in a situation. Let's say, for instance, a woman had lipstick on her teeth. Everyone else would be embarrassed. I wouldn't. I'd be the first person that says, hey, guess what? There's a problem. Let's address it. Even though it might be embarrassing for me and her. And that's the kind of guy I am. If I see something wrong with something, I can't help myself other than to fix it the correct way. So when I saw the personal development scene being wrong and full of certainty salespeople, come to the front of my seminar for 1997 now and you can get it for £1,000 and all that, I just thought, this is fucking bullshit. This is not what the UK needs. It's not what people need. And I just went in there and I blew the doors off this thing. And actually, once again, every morning I've got to check under my car for bombs. Because, these people, they don't like me because I'm telling them the things. I had a guy at that business show, a guy saying to people, selling seminars to do stock trading or some bullshit, right? You can earn £10,000 a day. And you've got fucking people sat there listening to this dickhead saying you can earn £10,000 a day. And he'll sell you a course for 300 quid. Why the fuck is he spending his fucking 2 days in a trade show if he can earn £10,000 a day? Maybe, just maybe, the reason he's doing that is because he can't earn £10,000 a day, but what he does, he sells you schmucks fucking training courses that think you can, boom. And people want to be blagged, but I'm not about that thing. So where I'm at right now is making a positive difference. Making a positive difference to those people that want a positive difference.
I think what you're saying there and what you're doing there is 100% correct, and it's the whole industry's been taken in the wrong direction, and
but you know something, people want to be blagged. They want to be lied to. People think there's some sort of certainty that you go and read my book, get off your ass, and you'll become a millionaire. You'll have a Lamborghini. Earn money while you sleep. Let me tell you, I've been fucking working for 10 years. And the most I've ever made whilst I slept was £200. That's it, right? And if I just sleep and sleep and sleep and sleep, guess what? I won't make any more fucking money. So all right, maybe now I will. But the point I'm making, it takes 10 years. But if you used to write a book, say, hey, guess what? It's going to take you 10 years to get to the point where you don't have to work. Nobody would fucking buy it. No. But everyone wants to know the 100-day way of making money. Fuck off, nonsense, fucking rubbish.
So do you feel like in the sort of personal development world, especially in the business world, that a lot of people, they start a business to often prove themselves? So they're not really starting a business because it's coming from, their true desire, their true sort of, I really want to do this. I'll do this even if people don't pay me kind of attitude. Or are people sort of saying, if I have all these things, people will love me?
If I think about my combination, it was a combination of both of those things. That one, I wanted the best for my family, and that was the only way I was going to do it. And secondly, is I thought I could do marketing initially better than anyone else. When it comes to networking, I thought I could do networking better than anyone else, and I sort of proved the point now. So I think it's a combination of both. Now, what I used to do when I worked the job before that, the managing director said, Brad, you're like you go into a room full of people that are not talking, and you really light them up and get them all talking and meeting people and stuff. He said you're like a Brad grenade. He called it a Brad grenade. And also, what I used to do about that same time was sit on message forums, computer games, fucking just creating mayhem and just talking to people. So I thought, how the fuck do I make a business out of getting people talking and talking shit online? And that's how it just made an obvious thing to set up a networking event, which is as a base. In the form of online as well.
So let's talk about for networking. What is unique about it? How do you join one? How is it different than other networking?
Okay. Have you ever been to a networking event?
Sorry?
Have you ever been to a networking event?
I have been to many.
Okay. So in political terms, you have the loony left of networking, where nothing quite happens. It's all glasses of wine, Chablis. And what do, young man? Here's my card. Any referrals, I'll give you 10%. Have an amazing evening. Bye. And that's it. Just fucking 100 people doing that shit. Then you've got the hardcore right of networking. Where's your leads? Where's your referrals? You need to attend. What the fuck? I'm self-employed here and you're talking to me like a child. Loony left, hardcore right. I went along to one of these hardcore right ones and it was like a fucking Guantanamo Bay without the fun. You know, I started my business off to enjoy my life, not to be talked to like a child. Loony left, hard right. Where was the mainstream? It never existed until I came up with 4 Networking. So how does 4 Networking differ? We have a national organisation now. And what that allows you to do is at 4 Networking, you don't join one group, you join them all. So you join the network. So I'm from Manchester originally. There's 20 groups where I used to live within 45 minutes. Where I am now, there's 17 groups within 40 minutes. Where you, London?
London, yeah.
26 groups within 45 minutes from wherever you are now. Right? So you can go there. So on Monday, there's probably 30 groups running. On Tuesday, 40 groups. So you can work it around your schedule anywhere around the UK. And where it differs as well, we don't run networking events in the morning at 6 o'clock. Fucking nonsense. You know, we run them at 8 till 10. So you miss the traffic both sides. But when it gets interesting at 4 Networking, here's the format. 8 for 8:30 in the morning, so you have open networking. Then you sit down, have your breakfast, and have 40 seconds. Everyone stands up. Hi, I'm Brad Burton. I'm a marketing genius. What I do is this, this, and this. And you think, okay. You go around the table, and you're looking for people you want to have a one-to-one chat with. So I write a number 1 on my card. Erlend, could we have a chat, please? Yeah, sure. Which number? 1, 2, or 3?
So this is over a meal?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Breakfast in the morning. So what happens is we swap cards, and then as you turn, you want to chat with somebody you heard. So you said, "Could we have what cards have you got left? 2 or 3?" You swap. Boom. You get rid of all your 3 cards. Then you reconvene for a foresight speaker, which is an insight, not a sales pitch. So you have one of the members giving some information, and then it gets interesting because you have 3 10-minute one-to-ones. So you and I and all the other members sit down for 10 minutes. Hi, Erlend. So tell me a bit about your business. Bang, 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 bang. And actually, you know, if I don't like you and you don't like me, it's going fucking nowhere, right? If you and I hit it off, then what we do is say, well, listen, why don't we continue to talk beyond this? Or we'll follow each other up on social media. That's it. The simplicity of creating appointments. That's what we've done. And nobody's ever done that format. So we've got the national network, the passport system that allows you to get involved, and the one-to-ones, and we've got the online community, 4networking.biz.
Where would you put BNI in this equation? Are they like hardcore or are they
hardcore right?
Hardcore right. Okay. So meet like no trust.
Meet like no one trust. Yeah, exactly. So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Would you pass a referral, a lead, a contact to someone you don't like, someone you don't know, someone you don't trust yet?
No.
Of course not. So on that basis, think about it. The reason that people pass you leads, you referrals, you jobs, are people like you, they know you, they trust you. Don't expect others to forgo the same checks that you're doing. And that's the great thing about 4 Networking, is that, you know, we're not working out, oh, have you done business with them? Fuck it, if you don't like me, no one's forcing you. But there's no logical reason. The most difficult thing about running a business is getting to know people. Right? It's the most difficult thing to broach. 4 Networking, we've taken away that and we've made business easier.
So is it the same people every time, or is it like a mixture of people?
Changes because, you know, so let's say for instance the average attendance last week 21.6 last week, okay, so you might have 16 people that go there and then some go to the group that's 5 miles down the road. So you're always changing. It's always in flux.
And what does it cost for membership?
200 quid for 200 days.
Okay, so £1 a day. Mm-hmm. Cool.
But we offer, you know, and at each meeting you've got to pay £13 for a breakfast. But not only do we do breakfast, we do lunches and evenings as well. Right. So the whole thing is just a complete national network across the UK. Wow,
that sounds like an amazing group.
Oh, listen, and you know, when I first started it, we didn't have the passport that allowed you to go to every group. That came about as a result of us having 5 groups. And then all of a sudden it made sense. It was like the internet for people.
Wow. But it's the same format every time. So it's in that format and everybody does that.
Absolutely. And once you know the system, you know, if you then go from London to 4 Networking, you remember, and you've got a meeting in Manchester, then you arrange a meeting for 12 or 1, go to your local 4 Networking there. You're the new boy now. So, even though you've been a member for a year over in London, you're now the new boy. So the whole thing's in flux. And not only that, you then meet people in Manchester and then go back to London and tell people about people. It's massive. It really is like the internet for a networking version of the internet. Clever stuff.
Fantastic. I'm definitely going to check that out. I
Please-
want to get back to... Sorry?
Give me a second. I'm actually there. Beyond this, I'll send you. I'm actually speaking at 2 4 networking events in London. Week commencing the 15th of February.
15th of February. Fantastic. I'll definitely
beyond
show
this, we'll talk about you.
definitely show up then. Probably won't be hungover from Valentine's Day on the 14th. Fingers crossed. So I do have a question about what we talked about earlier. You talked about like welfare and then family.
Helps with relationships, yeah.
So what part of us actually thinks that we can have both? Because oftentimes we want both, right? We want everything.
I've got it. I've got both now.
Yeah.
Absolutely now. But the point is this. I'm not saying that you shouldn't go full speed towards wealth or to get your business going, right? What I'm saying is ensure that your family know where you're going and why you're doing it. I was just unquestioning. I never said to the wife at no point, listen, you're going to have to look after the children. I'm going to be going, is this a price worth paying? And I think that's the point I'm making. By all means, if you want to go there, that's cool. But be brave enough or smart enough to have the conversation up front with your loved ones to say, look, dad's going to, or mum's going to start a business, or it's going to impact on us as a family. Should we do this? And get the buy-in of those people.
Right. So include them in the process.
Yes, rather than getting to the point where you're having a nervous breakdown and then the recriminations start as to, So
my next question is about, I think something that all people that have ever started a business or everybody really, we get to this point where we just feel incredibly stuck. It's kind of like that feeling when you feel like you should go to the gym or you should do that public talk or you should, confront that person. But a part of you goes, I'm not ready. And then another part goes, do it. But oftentimes we just, feed the sort of the coward, so to say. What is that stuck feeling and what do we do about it?
You need to know why you're doing it. Because if you don't know why you're doing it, you need to get the pain needs to be good enough or the goal needs to be good enough. People are driven with either a carrot or a stick, right? You're driven with a carrot in terms of, yes, I want to go and do that for that reason, or I am scared of what will happen if I don't. For me, if your only motivation is money, it's not enough, right? Because if I go and punch you in the mouth now, let's go again. Yeah, right? No, but if your only motivation is money, you've got to go, okay, let's go again. If your motivation, in my case, is I promised my mum that I'd buy her private healthcare, I promised my wife and my children, bear in mind, I was delivering pizzas 11 years ago or 10 years ago, and my boy, he was a baby, I promised him that I would take him to Disney World. How the fuck does a guy on £5.90 an hour take his children to Disney World? Well, guess what? For the last 7 years, I've fucking done it. Right? I've done it the best possible way you could do it. That's what drove me. So if you don't, you can't. What you should do is tune in to your loved one's motivation or to the reasons for them, because that allows you then to do the scary things. For instance, I spoke at, I can't fucking remember, last week, some big thing in Birmingham, and I was scared to death beforehand. So you've seen me speak, right? Do I come across as scared to death?
Not really.
Right. Last week I was scared to death, right? And I remember overthinking everything. So, the day before game time, great. 5 minutes before game time, and your mind plays tricks on you. But what I did is I drawn up a picture of my daughter, and I went, I'm doing it for you. And it allowed me to bring my nerves down and reason. That's what you need. You need a reason that is beyond money or Lamborghini. Do it. If you can't do it for yourself, do it for someone else, and that will push you forward. It certainly drives me anyway.
So do you feel like if the reason why you're doing something is for somebody else, then that you get more power than if it's like a selfish...
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I just think that gives you that moderate edge. Because when you've got everything financially, to go and put yourself in a fearful situation, why the fuck would you do that? Because you don't need to do that. You're financially stable. So the reason that I push myself now is to use the drive and that actually this is legacy piece for those guys. That's what works for me. It might work for you, it might not.
So you've how many businesses have you started? How many failed? What kind of experience?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I've not had any businesses fail. None.
Okay.
I've had lots of sub projects that have failed. I'm not giving a fuck. I'm not bothered because one of the things that I've written in my latest book is experience is what you win when you lose. Experience is what you win when you lose. And you know what an expert is? An expert is someone who's made all the mistakes in a field, right? So, and that's what I've done in networking. I've made every fucking mistake going. In terms of professional speaking, I've made every single mistake. But as long as you learn from it.
What would you say your biggest mistake was as a professional speaker?
Well, what I can tell you is one of the most difficult situations I had was about 2.5 years ago. I was speaking at a company, a supermarket company, and the managing director was due to give me an intro, and he couldn't find his card. He went, it's just some fat bloke from Manchester. That was a tough gig. So I had a 45-minute seminars. No one's laughing. No one's doing. Just nobody wanted to be there. Employees. So I'm 25 minutes, 30 minutes in, and then just dying. And I said, you know what? Experience is what you win when you lose. When things don't go your way. Would you like to know what I've learned today? And he said, yeah. I said, never do a fucking job for a supermarket. Waved and fucked off, and everyone started laughing. But. You listen, what's the point in just sitting there for another 15 minutes getting shit? So
I've heard that a lot about like some corporate jobs can be incredibly difficult, especially if you're doing sales training and the sales team is like super negative. It's like one of the toughest things you can do.
You know, and I think the only way to combat that, and this is something that you've got to be really fucking brave enough to do, turn around and say, guys, honestly, I've been paid to be here. You've been paid to be here. I know you don't fucking like me. Right? And I don't necessarily like being here with you lots of fucking staring at me that say you don't like me. So why don't we, right, accept that that's the case, and before you make judgment on me now, because it is a fucking bear pit, you wait till the end of the day, and if you still think I'm a fucking dickhead by the end of the day, then fair enough. And actually, that's but you've got nothing to lose. At the moment, you hold the pair of twos. So you can continue to fucking hold a pair of twos, or you can go, you know what, I'm going to throw this fucking hand in and go again. That's a fallback position that the likes of which you can only understand if you've ever been a professional speaker. I mean, I've done stuff like that, never as strong as that, but that's always there. That's the word. If you might as well fucking go for it. You've got nothing to lose. You've lost already. And I think that's the experience there.
It sounds like you have this ability to like tap into your, the sort of, we have different voices in our head, right? And one voice is like, oh, this is the right thing to do. And you seem to like be very good at saying, okay, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, this is, I almost think, I'm almost suffer from fucking honesty Tourette's or autism in that I've got no filters. I've got no filters the likes of which normal people would have. Why the fuck do I think that it's acceptable to walk around with a fucking t-shirt, pair of trainers on, in a business capacity? And it's funny because I think I'm sending a message to any single person that ever says that you can't do it your way. I'm sending them a big fuck you, because you can. I've had experts. Tell you a couple of fucking examples. I had my first book, right? My first book. I said I'm going to call a book called "Get Off Your Ass," and I had literary agents say you can't call a book "Get Off Your Ass." Why not? Because nobody will publish it, and it certainly won't get stocked at Waterstones. Get Off Your Ass, the highest rated and reviewed business book on Amazon, right? Nothing fucking comes close. I self-published it because no publisher was ever going to fucking touch it. And I went to see the chief buyer at Waterstones. And I rang him up for 6 weeks, and eventually he answers the phone by accident. Oh, hi Brad, I've been meaning to get back to you. Oh, no problem. Steve, is it possible I can come and see you? Yeah, sure, Bob. Arranged. Went in to see him. He's like this, like Mr. Burns. Went in to see him, so he leant forward. So, Brad, tell me why you're here. I've got a book called Get Off Your Arse. You're the chief buyer at Waterstones. What do you fucking think? Never said that. Thought it. But I said to him, can I be really honest with you? As in really honest. He said, sure. I said, I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. And he burst out laughing. He said, that is the best pitch I've heard in 20 years. He said, it's true. I said, you know what? I've blagged my way here. Business lesson for you here. Takeaway point. Blagging will get you so far. At which point you either need to be 1, honest about it, or 2, get expert advice. This book is stocked in all Waterstones. People said to me, I can't call it that. People told me that phone networking would never work. People said to me I would never be able to get booked by any corporate wearing jeans, trainers and t-shirt. Well, when I spoke at Bentley last year, when I spoke at JCB last year, I looked left, I looked right. And those people that gave me the advice, there was nowhere to be seen. Maybe they was coming on after me. Oh no, they wasn't. See, this is the thing. Do it your fucking way. If your way's right, do it your way. Well, it's always been done the other way. Fuck the other way it's always been done. Change the game. Change the fucking game.
That's awesome, man. That is really good advice. When is your new book coming out? And if we've been watching this video, if you have been watching this video, what can we do to get in touch with you? Book you as a speaker, attend one of your courses. Do you do anything in the US? Where do you do? Tell us a little bit more about how we can take action.
So this is what I'm working on at the moment. Bradcamp 2016, which is it's a full day with me. This has been 44 minutes that we've been talking now. Effectively, what I do at Bradcamp is I put a USB cable in my head and I download a day. A full day. We've got 2 Bradcamps. One is Be a Better Speaker, talking to any single individual who wants to become a professional speaker or be a better speaker. That's one day. The other one is Build a Better Business, which is both one day's Bradcamp. All this information can be found at bradburton.biz. Same goes with booking there. Same goes with videos and content. But for me, just come and find me on Twitter and Facebook and just have a chat and a conversation. I'm not here to sell anything. I'm not. This is the thing. What I do in my world and my life is I create the conditions where people buy. People either like me or they don't. And I had a guy come up to me, good story actually, a dickhead, at that show, the show he was at, right? So a dickhead come up to me, and the reason I call him a dickhead is because he was a dickhead, right? He came up to me and he said, Brad, I see that from your thing, your company house records, your company's down 17%. That was going back 2 years ago. He was talking about that. It shows it retrospectively. And I went, congratulations, you've done a Google search. Well, Brad, your style's not for everyone. Oh, here we go. I said, name one person in the history of humanity whose style is for anyone. Name one. He couldn't do it. Right? And this is the point. This is the fucking point. There's not one person. So what people end up doing is they end up conforming to try be that person that everyone likes. And consequently, you then end up with hundreds of thousands of people conforming to be that person. Rather than, like this, you be yourself. And this is the great way you get the freedom in your mind's eye and just like the ability to be yourself. Just it's wonderfully liberating. Because for so long, I pretended to be something. That's why I underachieved in corporate. Because I tried to pretend to be something I wasn't. So I was always going to be the nearly man because I never conformed. I never fit that mould. So be yourself. Create your own business. Create your own life. And stop conforming to what people in society tell you a businessman can be or a business person should be. Sorry.
Well, I definitely think you have a really cool style, like the t-shirt, the way you speak. And I think, at this show that I saw you speak, there was a line outside. There were people watching you on TV. And this has been a real thrill having you on the show.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you on the 15th.
Good man, you got it.
So guys, check out For Networking if you're in the UK, and maybe if you want to launch it in the US, maybe Brad will
absolutely
be interested
talk to us about that.
To.
Definitely, 100%.
So the world is your oyster, and action takers usually get rewarded. So and non-conformists, of course, the crazy ones. So just want to say thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Erlend.
Thank
you. All the best.
This podcast is brought to you by MrOutsource.com. Outsourcing to the Philippines done for you. Mr. Outsource is a recruitment company matching busy entrepreneurs with Filipino virtual assistants, so you can have the time to focus on what's important.